Hey guys, I'm back. It's been a minute. Welcome to my new back cave. So I want to try to get back into making videos. It's been a minute, and now that I have a brand new setup, I feel more excited to do so. So I'm gonna start doing reviews on the things I've collected in the meantime, since the last time you've seen me, that kind of thing. Some of them may be old, some of them may be new, that kind of stuff. So what I'm gonna do today is a little different. Today, I'm going to review a couple of swords that I got. If you don't know, I am a practicing martial artist of Japanese swordsmanship. I practice Shinkendo. It is a swordsmanship style based around how to practically use the Japanese sword. So I've been training it for 10 years. Actually, 11 at this point, now that I think about it. But I'm always on the hunt for new places to buy swords, practice swords, that kind of thing. So today, what we're going to be doing is I have a couple blades from a relatively, to me at least, a new forge called hanbon forge, or hanbon forge. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's in mainland China. But if you want to visit them, it's hanbonforge.com. I'll leave the link down in the description. They have one of the most popular options is their ability to customize your sword for a and remarkably low price. The starting price for customization is only 97 US dollars. And you can choose between sharpened, non-sharpened, the furniture, the blade length, all that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for an entry-level sword or just a sword that you want to use or practice with that it's not going to break the bank and you're not going to worry about messing up because it's not going to cost you a ton of money, this might be the place for you. So now that I gave you a little bit of my background and why I collect swords or why I bought these swords, I'm going to show you the swords that I have. One of them is actually someone that I'm training currently, their practice sword. I bought it for them for the purposes of practicing drawing and resheathing. It's called an iaito. It's a dull training sword. Now, before I get into actually showing you the sword, there's a couple things. So an iaito is a dull training sword that's meant to emulate using a practical sword. Most iaito are made out of an aluminum zinc alloy. So it's the reason to do this is so the blade can never actually be sharpened. You can't sharpen these blades. The metal is too, it just can't be sharpened. But the drawback to a sword that can't be sharpened is the fact that you have to the aluminum zinc alloy is actually a lot lighter than an actual sword. So what you're doing is you're compromising the weight of an actual sword for a more safe type of metal. But this company, what they can do is they can make iaitos or dull training swords out of the same steel that you'll be able to make a sword out of. So you're not compromising that weight anymore. So without further ado, I'm just going to go over here and grab the sword. So off the bat, I'm going to back up a little bit here. It comes in a very nice bag. You get to choose the bag as well. This one is a blue flower design with the tassels to tie it up. The bag is free, by the way. It doesn't add to the cost of the blade at all. So, from here you get to choose almost all the furniture, from the pommel or the kashira, to the ito or the wrap, to the raiskin underneath, to the decorations inside the blade, to the fuchi and the suba. The fuchi is the collar on the top of the handle, by the way. So, and you can choose the color of the saya or scabbard as well, which is, this one is a nice kind of sparkly blue. Excuse me. And take a look there at the suba. You can see it's more of a flower design. The flower motif goes out throughout and to the back as well. If it would focus. Well, whatever. So, then we get to the actual blade. Now the blade is very well balanced. It is 1060 steel. It is not sharp at all. And one thing that I really like about this sword, other than a lot of iaito, is that when you buy an iaito, the tip of the sword is usually still very sharp. This one, in order to prevent any accidents, as you can see, I'm going to place it on my shirt here, it's rounded. So, no accidents can happen. Well, I mean, obviously accidents can happen, but they're much more unlikely to happen with a rounded tip rather than the usual kisaki or sword tip that katanas have. So with a rounded tip and a dull blade, it is a very good training sword. Can't get cut with this. It has a good weight. It feels like a real weighted katana. So if you want to have a sword to practice with and not have to worry about getting a katana and not being the same weight or being heavier than your practice sword, you won't have to worry about it if you get a steel iaito. They come roughly the same weight, and it will actually help with your muscle memory and your training as well to develop the muscle strength in order to train properly. In my opinion, that is. So this one does not have a hamon. It's made from a 1060 tool steel. The reason why it doesn't have a hamon is that they don't do fake hamons. So a lot of companies will, use a wire brush or some sort of laser to etch in a fake hamon, especially for iaitos. Their hamons that they use on their swords are only for their clay tempered or differentially hardened blades. So all their hamons are genuine. So if you don't get a clay tempered blade, most likely you're not going to have a hamon on your sword. At least that's my understanding of it. But for this one, costs roughly $107. And for a practice sword, especially if you're just starting out learning iaito, kenjutsu, anything like that, it is a very good price point. The people over at Hanbon Forge are very responsive. As soon as they finish your sword, they send you pictures of the entire sword. This way you can approve it or disapprove it if there's something you want to change. They give you angles of the handle, of the blade, of all the furniture on the sword. This way you know exactly what you're getting before you get it. And they tell you, in the email, if there's anything you don't like, please let us know. This way we can change it. So they're not just sending you pictures for you to see and then sending the sword on its way. They will wait for your response for you to approve the sword that you got before they send it out. Now, this is a training sword, like I said, but you can also choose in that same custom options a sharpened sword, or what we call in sword martial arts a shinken, a sharpened real sword. This one is not a full length katana. This one is a wakizashi. It is a short sword. So traditionally samurai carried two swords with them. One would be the katana, the long sword that you see a lot in the movies and all that kind of stuff. And the second one would be this, a shorter, what they call wakizashi. Now I got this just really because I've always wanted to have a matching set. I want to have the feeling of having a traditional two-sword feeling when I train. Even though my style does train with two long swords, I also want to try to take that practice and move it into a short sword. This one, I've already cut with a couple times. I asked for the hand sharpening. So if you see there are some scuff marks on it, but they don't bother me anything because, like I said, the only thing that I care about when it comes to my swords is the edge and the balance and the safety of the sword itself. So this one came very sharp. It was able to cut right out of the bag. So I had no complaints about it. The handle is tight and it has a 2 mikugi structure. Once again, I got to choose all the furniture on this, from the blade to the collar, the habaki, to the seppa, to the guard, to the handle, to the pommel, all of this. And I made it to try to match my long sword, my katana, as much as possible. The only real difference between the two is that my katana is much older and the black wrap is faded because of all the use it's been through. But once again, you can see 1060 steel, no hamon, a few scratches here or there, but like I said, I tested it on some water bottles and some tree branches just to get a feel for the edge here. But everything comes very sharp, very well made. And this one only cost me, I believe, 100 and maybe 120, something like that, because I got a special guard that they do charge you for. They have plenty of guards in the selection that you don't have to get charged for. So those are free as long as you choose those options. But there are other options that obviously will bring up the price. You know, they have different sword types, different blade types that they will charge you for, and they're all listed there, so you can make the calculations yourself. All that kind of stuff. You can choose specialized um, guards and handles and all that kind of stuff. But the only thing I chose that was special was this guard, which cost I think like $10 or $15. Um, it came with all the furniture. The guard, it's not only the guard, but it's the guard, the fuchi, the kashira, the menuki inside. Pretty much just like the decorative furniture of the sword, and it was worth it. I mean, like I said, this is not something I would be using in my everyday training. Excuse the light difference here. There's clouds are going over the sky. But it is something that I also wanted to try to practice with when I do my tamashigiri practice, that kind of stuff, because it's just another aspect of Japanese swordsmanship that I want to get a feel for. But overall, I definitely recommend Hanbon Forge. They have a lot of options. If you don't want to go with the custom option, they do have pre-made swords, usually in stock that you can buy right off the bat, and they'll send them to you right away. They'll give you a notification of which swords are in stock, which ones they have to make, all that kind of stuff. I will give you a warning. I don't know when this video is going to go up, but it is a Chinese-based company, so you will have to plan around it. Right now, it's going to be the Lunar New Year pretty soon. So they also send out emails if you sign up for their mailing list. Hey, the Lunar New Year is coming up, so orders will be delayed, but we will keep in contact with you, that kind of thing. So, that being said, you can get a very good sword, a very practical cutter, or a very practical training sword for just around $100 or a little bit more. But if you do want to go to like the whole 9 yards, you can spend five, six, $700 getting the best furniture, the best steel, the best uh, stuff. Like this is cotton. Like you can get silk, you can get different kinds of silk, you can get a full wrap race skin handle, you can get like Damascus steel, you can get different. It's the options are endless. So base option for a good cutter, something to practice with, $100 something. You can't go wrong. If you want to go higher, they have a lot of other options. I suggest definitely checking out Hanbon Forge, and see for yourself. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments down below. I'm glad to be back. I'm hoping to make more videos soon and give you a tour of my new setup and a couple of things that have definitely changed since the last time I made a video. I think it's been, God, like 2 or 3 years since I made a video. Well, I'm happy to be back. I hope you guys are happy to be back, happy to have me back. Excuse me, and hopefully, this will be the beginning of me doing YouTube videos again. If you like what you see, like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time.